Hello, welcome to the Roberto Clemente Charter School Board of Trustees meeting. Today it's February 17th, 7 o'clock. Welcome to everybody that's online and welcome to everyone that's here in the boardroom. Prior to tonight's board meeting, the board entered into executive session to discuss personnel and real estate matters. Let's take a moment to look over the agenda, a review of the agenda. Let's take a look at the minutes. Take a moment to review the minutes. I need a motion to approve the minutes.
So move.
John, okay, I need a second.
Second.
Jill. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. The next thing on the agenda is the public input. Not seeing any public here or online. Moving on to the next item on the agenda, the CEO office, CEO report.
Thank you, Dr. Dolgus. A few updates from my office this evening. First, I am recommending, in accordance with the school's unpaid leave of absence policy, that the Board of Trustees approve unpaid leaves of absence for the staff members that are listed in my CEO report.
Okay, do I hear a motion to approve
I'll make that motion as presented.
as presented?
Second.
John, Gus. Okay, all in favor, say aye.
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 And opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries as listed.
Okay, the next item is just for the board's information, but I would like to present it publicly tonight. The Education Committee met earlier this month on the 2nd. And we continued working on the attachment that is included for the board, which is a framework for curriculum review. An area that has been identified for improvement and continuous support in our school is the alignment of our K-12 curriculum. So this framework, or this guiding document, if you will help to guide the processes over the next really years, to allow us to review our current curriculum, to either refine that curriculum, change that curriculum, update that curriculum, to ensure that it is better aligned K-12, which we know is important for our students, and also for our teachers and staff. So again, just being presented to the board for information tonight and publicly to our community. And thank you to the Education Committee for working on that with me.
A question, is this
Yeah.
the first time we've ever seen this?
Yes. Yeah, the committee saw it twice. This is the first document of a lot of this is acknowledged in our 3-year cyclical comprehensive plan that's due to the state, but it doesn't exist separately as a tangible document, as a guiding protocol that we can have in place. So I felt it was important to develop something like this.
Is there not like the committee is going to, like someone's gonna say, okay, now it's 27-28. I'm sorry. It'll be 2029, now we need to monitor what we implemented. Is that the committee or is that at the principal level of the school or CEO?
So if you step on the previous page, John, it does talk about curriculum teams and who lives on those teams and who participates on those teams. So there's definitely oversight coming from the CEO office to direct the committee teams, but the intent is that there are a variety of committee teams, right? There's an overall K-12 team, there's an elementary team, a middle school team, a high school team, an elementary team, a combined secondary team. So that the teams are purposefully built in a fluid manner so that they can adjust to the subject areas that are being reviewed given the year that it is. So it does come down to those teams and me and the principals. Yeah.
Thank you.
Sure. Just to highlight, at the beginning of the month, we had another school leadership support day. So those are some days that are designated on the calendar for me and the principals to get together, or the principals and I to get together, to work through instructional leadership activities together. We had a day back in December, and on the 4th, we took some time to reflect upon the difference between urgent and important leadership tasks. We participated in a mini grader coaching training. Grader coaching is a protocol to coaching and supporting teachers using a goal-focused process. And then I also attended a common planning meeting at every different grade span. So I went to one of Corey's meetings, one of Tamara's meetings, one of Josh's meetings, and common planning is a time that has been ritualized in the calendar where teachers and staff come together to talk about the data in their classrooms, their instructional practices. They're led by our building principals. So it was a great opportunity for me to see those meetings in action, for me to be able to identify some areas of strength. And then the next step will be to identify some common practices that our principals can instill in each of their meetings. So regardless if someone is a kindergarten teacher or they're a high school, social studies teacher, there's some common approach, there's some common language, there's common goals that are being addressed during these meetings. And then also engage the principals in some follow-up conversations about those common planning meetings last week. But important to highlight that all 3 of our principals are grounded in best instructional practice. Each of them has an eye for what great teaching looks like and sounds like. They're able to identify what works with their teachers and staff and to help them talk about what's happening in their classrooms, which we know is an accelerant to student learning. So excited for that work to continue at each of our grade spans. We lastly, I'll acknowledge that we were closed for a week at the end of January, unfortunately, due to the snow. We did not go virtual because we had used up 4 of our virtual learning days for the elementary boiler closure. And I didn't feel that it was practical for us to do 1 day of virtual and then 4 following days without virtual. You're only allowed 5 per year. So we did not have instruction that week. However, we were able to reopen our administration building that Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, so that our essential staff could be on site to help prepare to welcome students back into the building. In terms of instructional hours, we're still above the thresholds for a successful instructional year. We're squeaking it by, especially at the elementary level, but we are still above that 990 hours right now. So let's hope the groundhog
It's right.
is well, wrong. Yeah.
It's 6 phones.
Right.
Yeah. But that's all I wanted to highlight for the board this evening. I'd be happy to answer any questions the board may have for my report.
No, but thank you for all the work with the snow days. This is unusual, but it's melting, so that's good.
Yes.
Slowly. But thank you.
Yeah, but this should just make it a last year.
Yeah, right,
We-
lucked out, yeah. Okay, going on to the principal offices, let's see, high school, take it away.
Thank you. Good evening. I'd like to just start with a few celebrations, some shout outs. I want to give a shout out to a couple of students, Mayfer Hernandez and Ishmael Hernandez, for coming in first and second place in the RCCS versus Lehigh Valley Academy Charter School chess tournament. They were very excited about it. All of the kids had a great time. We're planning on doing a follow-up tournament with them sometime towards the end of March. But it was a good trip all the way around. But wanted to give a shout out to those two. Wanted to give a shout out to Miss Cabrera. She is one of our high school IAs. She has been doing a great job with building strong connections with the students. And actively looking for opportunities to work with students. She's approached me a couple times now with ideas and things that she wants to do to help support, especially our ESL students in our school, but in terms of doing tutoring and working with the students more. She's been great so far. I want to also give a shout out to Mrs. Watson. She's our high school math teacher. She's always implementing new activities and ideas to create stronger student engagement in the classroom. When we come together during common planning, she's always sharing out some of her ideas. I observed her class recently and she's always looking to improve and I think she's just doing a phenomenal job and wanted to shout her out. Going on to our attendance report, for January, all of our grades except for 11th grade went up in January. 11th grade, we saw a decrease from December. We have been, meeting a lot more with parents and setting up some attendance plans with those parents and those families to try to get them, see what barriers there might be for them coming to school. And what we can do to make sure that our kids are coming to school. Hopefully we'll see an impact in those attendance rates, in February.
Any common threads, about the absence?
Same,
Or just,
It's kind of the
same issue.
same issues, yeah, just.
And is it same students and same issues?
And some kids, it varies. We have some kids who are like our repeat flyers who it is the same issue with, that we keep working with, and, you know, we've had to go to court for a couple of them, due to their attendance concerns. So we're trying to get them where they need to be, but it's like a constant back and forth and trying to figure out what's going on with it.
and just because I'm curious for that, is it kid issue or parent issue or both?
Again, it kind of depends. In some cases it is a parent issue. I think in some cases it can be a little bit of both. I think a lot of times, you know, we had one kid specifically that I'm thinking of that the parent has been really trying to get him to come to school. He's just been refusing, and I mean, so in that case, it was the kid in that situation. It kind of could go either way with a lot of them, yeah, yeah.
Sure.
Just a couple of things in academic achievement. We continue to be discussing in our common planning, student engagement, what some of those best practices look like in the classroom. Having some good discussions on that, and I'm starting to see some teachers implementing some of the things that we're talking about, so that's always good to see. Daily walkthroughs continue. We've implemented a more uniform feedback form for teachers to use, and I've gotten some good feedback from teachers saying that they like that because they have kind of the expectations right there and can kind of reference that after I walk through and give them that feedback. And we've also started rolling out some targeted tutoring thanks to some help from Mr. Boyko, Ms. Rivera, and Ms. Cabrera. We're using our benchmarking data to kind of drive that tutoring, to try to maximize the, improvements, or to try to target the kids we think would benefit the most from it. We're starting it with ELA, with 9th and 10th grade, with the plan to add in 11th grade ELA, 12th grade, and then math as well. We'll have them on alternating days.
Especially for the tutoring, do you have some portion of this student to student tutoring? You know, like 11th grader tutoring, 9th grader kind of thing, or you don't do students?
We want to eventually add that in.
Okay.
It's part of it. Right now, it's mostly teacher to student, is the plan right now, but we do want to have that student to student tutoring as well. We're kind of testing out a few ideas and seeing what works best. Infraction report, we had 14 level 2s, 2 level 3s, a little bit less than what we had the previous month. We had extended lunch detentions, after school detentions, some conferences, a lot of discussions about academic honesty. We are seeing kids trying to use AI a little bit more to complete their assignments, so we've been talking a bit about that. And that was a fair bit of those level 2s. We had 17 positive office referrals. PBIS initiative for February is we're trying to encourage scholarly students and talking about how we can focus on that and how we can encourage that. Looking at things like folders and notebooks. Every kid should be bringing their folders and notebooks in class and not just leaving them wherever they want or not bringing them to school. Being inquirers, asking questions, being a part of their learning, not just having their education thrown at them. They have to be an active part of that. So we've been talking a lot about that. Some college and career updates are there from Miss Ashworth, our high school counselor. And that's, we have some dates coming up and there's some pictures back there from our chess tournament that I figured I'd share.
Well,
Nice.
it's good I'm being a nerd here. Do we have a sense of the attempt versus the acceptance rate, like the students to the various secondary schools? In other words, is that 8 or 10, but only one got accepted, or 7 out of 7 attempted? And
I'm sure Mrs. Ashworth has it. I don't have it offhand. I could talk to her about it.
yeah, just more for comfort to see if, we're getting the right communication to the school, or do we have to, kind of tap the school on the shoulder and say, hey, pay attention to our kids.
Yeah.
Look what you're getting good quality here. You're not even paying attention, or maybe our skill at filling out the forms that they need are not quite there.
Yeah.
So I'd like to get,
Some
for
feedback.
every candidate attempt, to get at least, 8, 9 responses, then one.
Right.
Dana, on that same vein, looking at where they're going every year. I mean, if you could start to, whether you see what friends, which schools are picking them up, whether the numbers are the same every year. Just to get the kind of the bigger picture of what's happening.
When you follow on that same thing also, when you plan, you may already do this, maybe it's in my mind. But I know, with seniors this time, year after year, we see, okay, this is where they're applying, they're accepted. Do you get something at the very end that says, okay, we ended up with 20 kids. Here's the names of the 20 kids. This is where they ended up going, because I'm assuming even on this list, there could be certain students that maybe have been accepted to 3 or 4 schools.
Yeah,
or something.
Yeah, that's for
Right.
sure.
This,
Yeah,
so you can't just count.
right,
How many kids
The
have been?
number.
right.
can't
The
count
commitments, right, where are they
Right.
committed to go? Yeah.
So I was just wondering, it might be interesting to share with the board.
Those
as a
final
follow-up to
commitments.
this at the very end, that
Right.
says,
Okay,
hey, this is how it all washed out at the end.
yeah,
We ended up with 15 students. We got 2 going to Cedar Crest, 1 going to sales, and,
yeah, okay,
because that's kind of like a final product.
So wait,
It'd be nice to know too, I mean, when kids are getting 2 or 3 offers, what the rationale is in terms of where they're choosing to
Right.
go.
yeah,
Where I just, again, there must be, that would in part be a reflection of, resources at home or desire to stay close to home or whatever, just to get gain a sense of what the decision making is behind
Mhm.
where the kids are choosing to go.
yeah.
right now, we have 31 seniors or something here.
No, that's
No.
31 places.
That's how many places,
Oh.
and some kids got accepted to multiple
Like
places.
somebody,
Yeah.
Right.
like there could be a student that's.
How many kids?
No, it says
Yeah,
eight.
there's only 31.
Yeah,
students
it
this
says
year. It's a
18 out of
small
31
That's 31,
students.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
Okay. It's always interesting to see where they wind up.
yeah.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Anything else here? Great pictures of the chess club here. Okay, thank you. Going to elementary.
Thank you.
Terry.
Good evening again to everyone. Starting off with our attendance, we did see similar attendance numbers as the high school. We were up over 94%. That was an increase from last month when we reported out. This month, we are reporting on our marking period 2 benchmark testing. The numbers that are there are the current reality of our second marking period. From Mrs. Ricketts and I talking, speaking with our instructional coach and as well as the grade level teams, we are all very similar with our takeaway. We're a little shocked, we're a little surprised. There's more of a sense of urgency, but considering how our second marking period has gone since the end of November. We are realistic that it could be a lot worse, but we're not hanging our hats on that. We are moving forward with some supports. We're using this more as a diagnostic tool to see what instructional programs are being implemented with Fidelity, how much Fidelity is being used, just any system alignments. And then, as I'll speak later on with some of the professional development, we did tailor our grade level common planning meetings to target specific areas that we were seeing coming out of the benchmark testing. One thing that Mrs. Ricketts and I noticed when we were digging deeper into this is our students did not necessarily regress. Most of them maintained their proficiency level, but our cut scores for our our STAR testing, and as well as our roots oral language testing, they move as the year goes. So it should be matching in stride with how much the students are learning, are being taught. So the line moved, but the kids did not move with it.
So the students aren't progressing.
Right, at this point, they're not progressing. We hit a barrier considering everything that has happened our side of town over the second marking period. A lot of inconsistencies, just we're hitting the ground right now with more urgency and say a finer focus.
Moving on to the discipline, we did see a little bit of an increase with our level ones from marking or for January. In December, we had 5. In January, we went up to 10. Again, we had a little bit of inconsistency coming back from on days off that weren't scheduled, kind of got the kids a little out of routine.
That's a good way to say it.
Yeah. We did also have 2 level 3s. They were managed through parent notifications, conferences with students, guidance counselor, and there was 1 out of school suspension. Again, we go back to reminding students and going through those expectations, me visiting classrooms, reminding students of their daily expectations, having teachers reiterate their expectations, moving into every new subject that they're instructing. Moving into our positive office referrals, there is a PBIS newsletter attached to the back of this that I do send out at the end of every month. We did still have, even with our days off in January, we did have 109 positive office referrals. So we are still highlighting those students that go above and beyond the expectations, even with some inconsistencies that we may have had. Yeah.
Okay, our college and career activities, we're continuing with the Safer Smarter and lessons in specific grade levels as the year progresses. Nutropoli Bank, they were finally able to come in and do a presentation for our 3rd grade students. 3rd time is the charm. I'll talk more about that in the other information section. And then there are also some lessons for specific grades and classes on appropriate peer interaction. As Mrs. Ricketts was saying, we were all dysregulated to a certain degree coming back from that time off. So the students just needed a quick refresher with those interactions and our guidance counselor leading that. The bilingual activities, we are still looking to reschedule some things that have been put on hiatus over the past couple months. The parent workshop, there's a round 2 of that reported out on the first one, I believe last month or the month before. And then the Spanish Spelling Bee celebration, the 2 teachers who hosted the Spanish Spelling Bee, they want to have a small celebration for all of the winners. Every time we seem to schedule something like this, Mother Nature says not today. So it's there. We're working on it. The professional development in January, the 1 o'clock dismissal, as a staff, we went through, we analyzed an article and looked at how we can use our assessments, not just test scores, but our classroom assessments, our formal and informal assessment as a GPS, giving us real-time feedback instead of a paper map. So that way we can make instructional changes in real time to meet the needs of the students. Similar to what Mrs. Mace reported out, we had 2 SFA coaching visits, and that fell nicely in line with our initial data from the benchmark testing, and we were looking at monitoring lesson pacing, some of those instructional implementation, utilizing the scoring rubrics, utilizing the parts of the curriculum that the teachers have at their disposal, and also just maintaining a data focus. We can't analyze the data unless they are collecting it and having it for us to look at. And did mention earlier that our grade level and department common planning meetings, we're still having those, but we are switching up how we're approaching them to be more targeted, planned and purposeful, just to address some of the needs that we're seeing coming out of this second marking period of benchmark testing. And then the team from Nutripoli Bank was just two, it was just Michelle and David who came. This time they presented to our third grade students. There's pictures with them and the third grade students. And then as a surprise to us, Michelle number two, there are two Michelles coming from Nutripoli Bank, but the second one, she's been working with the bank for about 20 years in the lending department, and she's actually published those two books that are pictured there. And the team from Nutripoli Bank brought them and they left.
Wondering how those fit into the banking theme. If you look at the titles of the
I
books.
had to follow up with
Yeah.
the team who came just to get some clarification, so that way we could, they can. Yeah, but yeah, I mean,
It's cool.
they were gracious, they were fantastic. And then celebrations.
And then we'll move on to celebrations. We do want to thank our two ESL teachers, Ms. Spirely and Ms. Attardo, for their planning, organization, and facilitating of the WIDA testing. We also want to celebrate grade 1. Each marking period, we do a co-key celebration challenge. And what that is we kind of use the qualities of a successful learner to go based off of that, and the 4 different qualities each marking period aligns that. So marking period 1 was being respectful, and what they have to do is they have to earn the most green frogs. The green frogs are a reward system that they use for the whole class. 80% of the students are on task or following expectations. They earn a green frog. And how they could do that for marking period 1 was being respectful. And grade 1 earned the most green frogs for being respectful for marking period 1. Now, we are in marking period 3, but because we had so many setbacks a little bit with the cafeteria being closed down and needing to have that space for a celebration, we didn't get to do it until recently. So what I have a menu of prizes that they can pick, or celebrations that they can pick. So specific students pick a celebration for the whole grade, and what they chose was a glow stick dance party. So first grade in the cafeteria, we had the lights off, the speaker going, a little disco ball with glow sticks, and they danced around to their favorite songs. Similarly to marking period 2, our challenge was to being a contributor, and they were able to earn frogs for being a contributor and for positive behaviors throughout the day and throughout their different specialty areas. And for marking period 2, second grade won the most green frogs for marking period 2, and they got to choose their celebration, which they heard about the dance party, so they chose that as well. So we are in the process of planning that for them to be celebrated.
Summer.
Yeah.
And
And there's a little picture of our dance party. I was dressed in my Cokie outfit, dancing around with them, so, yeah. Send an invite.
I
would have loved to see that. I would have loved to see that.
See our upcoming events on here as well.
Thank you. That would be nice if Mr. Guest. Thank you. All right, we're moving on to middle school.
All right, good evening, everyone. All right, so from the middle school, a couple of celebrations and shout outs. We have our new administrative assistant, Miss Yasleen Rivera. So her coupled up with our middle school guidance counselor, Kiara Lozano. They have really done a bang up job, working to get attendance underway, attendance issues under wraps and improving some homeschool communication. So I'll get into that as we talk about some of the attendance and discipline stuff. Miss Fritz is one of my new 6th grade teachers this year. She's a brand new, green, fresh out of college teacher, and she's doing a phenomenal job. She has made sure that every 6th grader in our school has a library book in their hands. So for the first time, and they're not allowed to leave the school. They're not allowed to take them out of the school, but they said they told me when they came back to school today, the first thing they did after being away for a long 4-day weekend was go get their library books off of the shelves in their homerooms. So they didn't even have to remind them of that expectation.
I mean, I understand the logistics, it's kind of shame they can't bring them home when they have to.
Babysit.
Luxury time to read. I know.
Yeah,
Well,
When-
I think that might be a goal, but still,
Yeah, yeah.
it's cool that
yeah.
they're taking ownership of some concept of sending out a library book is a big
Yeah,
deal.
it's exciting. And we kind of made a workaround on a Google spreadsheet because we don't have the Follett system up and running yet. it's kind of nice because she has carefully documented every book that each kid has had checked out, so we can see
That they're reading.
what they're choosing, you know, it's another little window into what their interests are. So that was kind of a nice thing to see. So sixth grade's got it going. We'll be ready with seventh and eighth grade soon. I want to give a shout out to the after school club advisors. And I probably speak on behalf of both middle school and high school. We have some top-notch after-school people who have just hooked kids in with some, engaging things. It's done a lot to build, just relationships across middle school and high school teachers and students. We are constantly getting kids asking for, sign up sheets. We are having new clubs that are starting. And they're giving kids opportunities if they've been in one club for a quarter or two, that they're asking if they can go join another club, or sometimes they're doing two different clubs because they'll come on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And everybody's just been so accommodating to the kids. And I think we have a pretty great after school club environment. And I wanted to give a shout out, just teacher attendance in January has been really spectacular. Last week we didn't have anybody out at all. Most of the week, like just some scheduled absences. But teacher attendance has really been stellar. No absences today. So that's fantastic. So in attendance in middle school, we did notice that our tardies had been running a little bit high. So if you look at the data dashboard that I have there on the second page under attendance and behavior, we didn't start tracking tardies until this month. I did go back and look at the last 2 months to see how that broke down. So you can see even in January, from where we were in December, when we started to notice that the trends were high, we've seen a pretty significant dip in every grade level on tardies. And that has happened because we've told children and parents that if they are absent 3 times, that they will have an after school detention. We do have some parents who have communicated with us regularly. They have some concerns, or they have, some transportation issues. So of course we're working with those parents, but I think for the most part, even our kids who had been pretty chronic are getting there. They don't want that after school detention. And it kind of inconveniences parents too, I think. So parents are also, working to get the kids there. And again, I attribute that to Ms. Rivera and Ms. Lozana, who've really been communicating with parents. When kids get detentions, they're reaching out to the parents right away, letting them know. And that gives us an opportunity to have some conversations as well about what we can do to help support them. All of our students with 8 or more absences, again, attributed to Ms. Rivera and Ms. Lozano, they all have SAPES. So we have attendance plans in place for our students who are chronically absent at this point. And we are not seeing attendance go up. We're really kind of seeing a wave in our attendance. We're up, we're down, we're up, we're down. We're hovering. I don't have any huge red flags right now. Again, we have a couple who, when I look at my 8th grade numbers, is probably where most of our chronic attendance issues are. So those are being addressed. Academically, I talked about our quarterly benchmarks last time we were here. So we have not benchmarked since then. What we have done is we've kind of expanded who we're recognizing. We're recognizing students for growth and achievement on both their STAR benchmarking assessments, and teachers are acknowledging students in their content areas and in unified arts. So we've kind of expanded the parents who we're inviting to our honors breakfast, which is coming up this week. And we're also doing regular classroom walkthroughs. I'm using consistent documentation with my teachers for that to help establish or reaffirm non-negotiables, and also highlight some of our best practice that we've been talking about during professional development and common planning time. In discipline, I'm always the winner. Middle school always wins. But if you look carefully, there is a lot more green in January down level 1 and 2 referrals. So that's exciting to see. When I look at the level 1s and 2s for where you're seeing that, yellow and red. It is really, when I look at the level 2 referrals in 6th grade, that went up to 6, it's 2 students. When I look at the 17 students who are cranking out the level 1 referrals in 8th grade, we're looking at 4 to 5 students. So we've been able to kind of drill down into those kids. We do have some safety nets in place for those students. They're part of small groups with either our guidance counselor or our social worker or our outside agency that is going to be coming in. All of our teachers, I have an expectation that they have a weekly behavior goal, which we're focusing on, in regards to PBIS. It has resulted in a lot more positive office referrals the last 2 months. So we are seeing an uptick in that. And it is just allowing us to start having conversations about how do we use that to goal set a little bit more consistently with our students, because we've also added in monthly incentive celebrations. So students who aren't getting in trouble at all, they have an added incentive. So less than 3 classroom-based referrals and 0 Sapphire referrals will earn them an end of month celebration. So this month it was movie and popcorn. 120 out of our 150 students attended that. We got to watch Remember the Titans, great movie. I think they enjoy the popcorn more than the movie, but that would be the middle school mindset for you. And this month we are going to have a staff and student game, and we are going to offer an option of a chill out room. It's real, they just want to sit around and chill out and hang out with their friends. That's their incentive. So we are holding after school detentions twice a week. That has been going very well. The attendance is pretty high. A lot of them are for our tardies, but they're being held accountable. And we also are seeing an improved communication around tardies, tardy detentions, any kind of after-school detentions or consequence. I've been in coordination with Jose to make sure those things get automated, but also that they are receiving some kind of documentation from either myself or my administrative assistant if I need translation done. So, college and career wise, we've kind of been in a little lull with that. Ms. Lozano has been starting to get back into our flip classes during our flexible learning periods and having lessons. And then we are working on planning coordination of our middle school career fair, which is coming up in April. If any of you are interested in being part of our career fair, may call. Bilingual activities, one of the things, and parent outreach, we are looking to, I've been in conversation with Burek about this too, determining what the best mode of communication is for our families and making sure that when we are reaching out to them, that they are getting that information and they are getting it in their language and they're getting it easily for them. And then also just increasing information for students, making sure that what we're posting in the building is posted in English and Spanish, because we want them to be informed. Making sure that we are creating some bulletin board spaces for the kids, so they're not coming and asking us what's for lunch. Like, they know that it's on the bulletin board. That they actually are looking at that board a little bit more and planning for what they want to eat that week. So, empowering them a little bit. Professional development wise, we've been focusing on those student engagement strategies. We've been taking some time to take a look at benchmark data, really reviewing and analyzing that, because we have used that to put tutoring into place. Tutoring is happening for small groups, 4 days a week, math and reading. And that's happening during our 8th period seminar block. We had some training collectively that Alyssa organized for us around Renaissance, so we can become a little bit more versed on our STAR data. And like I said, our tiered tutoring groups, 2 times a week for math and 2 times a week for reading. And this week, our conversations are around progress monitoring those tutoring groups to ensure that they're having timely impact. Our upcoming events, we have some classroom speakers that we are getting slated for to come in that are career focused, local people, people our staff know, people, for example, who grew up in this community, had a hard knock life, made it, you know, good role models for our students kind of thing. And then tomorrow we are having our early dismissal PD and we'll be working on engagement strategies and some close reading strategies to support what they're doing in tutoring. And we have our honors breakfast coming up. So that's the middle school.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions or
Yeah,
comments?
I'm very focused, classroom speaker. Where do you get,
When?
where do you get?
So so for example, I know one of my teachers, her husband is I'm gonna
Yeah.
blow it here. He's a tradesman. So he's,
Industry,
Mhm.
their business or.
yeah, just right now, we're kind of taking whatever we can get. Just things that are real and local in our community. Maybe somebody who owns a nail salon, maybe somebody who owns a local restaurant.
Business.
Yeah, I can't say that I'm well versed in what the future of commerce is going to be in Lehigh County in the next 10 years. But
Yeah, you and the Chamber of Commerce have no clues.
yeah, I would love to really ultimately set our kids up for success and hear what we can prepare them for. You know, because they all want to be gamers or they all want to be influencers. And the reality is most of them are going to work right here in the Lehigh Valley, and there are lots of great jobs that pay good benefits and health benefits and will help put, you know, a roof over their head and just realistic jobs. Not that I want to dissuade them from their dreams, but I just want to expose them because I don't, you know, middle school or what they don't know. They don't know what's out there.
They don't know.
They don't know what they don't know. So, you know,
That's true.
if I'm working at the PP&L center, you know, there's a lot of great jobs there that have a decent paycheck. Like we've got to get some of these people in, but right now I'm leaning on my staff to name somebody they know that will come and talk to our kids with an interesting or not so interesting job and come in and sell it. So I'm always open to suggestions.
Yeah. Thank you. Anything else? Thank you for the report. Very nice.
Yes, thank you for the little instructional targets. Nice to see that.
Okay, next. Human report.
Yes, good evening, everyone. And tonight's HR report, first, we're requesting board ratification of a new hire, Marta Velez, cafeteria aide, and new personnel appointments of current staff. We have Magna Bardales. She's our current Spanish teacher at the high school. She's appointed to girls volleyball head coach. And Madeline Rivera, current instructional assistant and athletic coordinator at the high school, to girls volleyball assistant coach.
So they're already on staff.
Correct.
And they're taking on that coach.
Correct.
Cool.
So we do that right away?
Yes, I'll stop there for.
So we need a motion
To.
To the hires.
for the hires.
This
Personnel.
as an aggregate. Okay, motion to approve the new hires in Roman numeral I, A, these hires.
Okay, there's an motion for the appointments and new hires. All in favor, say aye.
You need a second.
Oh, second.
I'll do a second.
Thank you. Now back to the motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Since our last meeting, we only had one resignation. I'll set for a motion.
Need a motion for the resignation?
I'll make that motion as presented.
Okay,
Second.
Jill, second. Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? Motion carries.
We continue our search for a part-time and a full-time instructional assistant at the elementary level. We also continue our recruitment for a long-term substitute Spanish teacher at the elementary level. Fortunately, I'm happy to report the facilities assistant manager position has been offered and accepted. Today, we received all pending documentation and we hope to report his formal start date in next month's meeting. Okay. And again, I'd like to remind everybody, and viewers that, anybody interested in any of our positions, they can always submit a resume, to hr@myrccs.com, or they can drop off their resume at any of our school buildings, or here at the admin building.
Where are these openings posted?
We have them right
Oh, they're
now
on site for us.
Indeed, yeah, on Indeed.
Oh, Indeed,
We have them,
okay.
Indeed is the one, and then we also for instructional positions, we post on PA Read. And also we post on Handshake, which is a website, a job board that is it's very known in colleges. It's like a touch point for all colleges around the nation.
Never heard of it.
So, yeah,
Yeah.
through them, we get, through them, we get, actually, invites to go to career fairs, and that's how we've usually been able to make those contacts. Lastly, the HR committee is asking the board of trustees to take action to maintain RCCS in compliance with state law with the revised employee address code policy and the revised employee handbook. Again, these revisions will align RCCS policy and procedures to the creating a respectful and open world for natural hair, aka Crown Act, that was enacted on November 25th and went into effect on Saturday, January 24th. I'll stop there for a motion.
Did I miss that? What is that act?
The act is basically, no employee can be, disciplined for their natural hair.
Yeah,
Basically,
yeah.
that's all it is.
They've chosen him.
Chosen
Natural is sometimes bold.
Yeah.
Both for the guy.
Well,
Some women are like, you say that.
can we put them together or do they have to be separate?
And there are two policies, I believe they should be separate. Well, one is a policy and the other is a
And then
revision
that's the
to the
revision.
handbook, yeah.
Okay, I need a motion to address the employment dress code policy. So I need someone to make.
So moved.
Okay, John, Ruth, how we doing?
I second the motion.
Okay, all right, motion has been made to accept the employee dress code policy as written here. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Now we need a motion to actually, accept the employee handbook with the new corrections.
This includes all the corrections we discussed before.
Yes.
Yeah. we thought so.
Make the motion.
Okay, Jill making the motion. I need a second.
I second the motion.
Okay, give it to her.
Okay, Ruth, we got Ruth. Okay, motion has been, made and second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That is all I need for report.
Okay, moving on, nice business office.
The finance committee did meet this past Friday. Excuse me, to this. Review the financial reports that are in front of you. I'll just note that, we did finally receive, Downtown School District's, 363 form. So those rates were updated. And at this point, the financial statements are reflecting all current subsidy rates. Our unassigned fund balances sitting at about $2 million, 17.5% of our operating budget. And then the payment list, about 783,000 in disbursements for the month. Take questions on any of those reports.
No, there was no surprises, any surprises to the end. Right,
Nope.
motion to accept the payment list as submitted.
Second, Jill. Okay, motion has been made for the, all in favor of accepting the payment list. Say aye.
Aye.
Right.
Opposed? Abstentions? Payment list is approved.
Next, for informational purposes, to reflect in the minutes that the audit committee did meet with the auditors last week on the 13th. Specifically Edmund, Bosu, L'Oreal. Did go over that report, which was also sent out to the entire board. So it is in front of the board for official approval tonight.
Okay, I need a motion to approve the auditor's report.
I'll make that motion.
All right, John, second,
Second.
Jill. Okay, a motion has been made and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
And I'll just make a quick note, as everyone saw in Alyssa's CEO report, that Gus was in the meeting as well. There certainly was commentary that it was a very clean opinion, no significant changes. He certainly gave kudos to Chuck and his
Yes,
department, as always, they do just a superb job.
that was really great.
Here, here.
All right, the next two agenda items, the contracts and then the non-budgeted expenditure, I'll just kind of wrap up those. They gotta be two separate motions, but follow along the line of the same conversation. So we did post our 470 form for E-rate for 28 days, which we have to do by law. So that came back. We got several proposals. Penn Teledata did come back cheaper than any of the other proposals we received. We currently do have a contract with Penn Teledata, so this would be a renewal. It's the same terms as the contract that expires at the end of June, so it's a 5-year total contract. The final 2 years are 1-year optional renewals, so each year we just approve things that we're renewing. We did solicit proposals that would upgrade all of our buildings to 5 gigs. Right now, this building is at 1, and each school building is at 2, so there's significant upgrades. If you look at the bottom of page 1 of the business report, it kind of breaks out some of these amounts. So remember, our telecommunication services go through E-rate, so we file every year a 471 form. We are always eligible for the max that you can get for E-rate, which is 90% discounted. So the contract total per year is $52,956, but successfully applying for E-rate each year, that amount would be discounted to $52.95 per year. Compared to what we're paying now, our bill, July 1st, our bill would go up $12 per month. And that's upgrading every single building up to the 5 gigs.
Yeah.
Only $12 more per month,
Yeah.
yeah.
Wow.
So, now one of the things is we do have to get the right equipment in place. The routers we have in each building right now are about 7 or 8 years old. And they wouldn't be able to handle the upgrade. So. If the one's made of gold. So, as far as the non-budgeted expenditure goes, we would also need approval from the board, should they approve the contract with Penn Teledata, that we would upgrade all 3 of our routers. And we would ask the board to go up to, I believe it's $6,000. So again, the first motion would be on Penn Teledata contract, and then the second motion would be to approve up to $6,000 so we can upgrade all 3 routers.
I'll make that motion.
Which one?
Which one would you like?
So I'll make 2 motions. The first motion is to approve the renewal of another 5-year budget period with Penn Teledata.
Okay, and I'll second that.
Thank you.
Okay, so a motion has been made concerning Penn Teledata. All in favor, say aye.
All right.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, objections? Okay,
Approved.
all,
And I'll make a follow-up motion for upgraded equipment slash routers for the three buildings up to $6,000.
Second. Second, okay, motion has been made for the increase to pay for the routers of $6,000, all in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Then lastly, again, about halfway down on page one of the business report, as I had reported, our unassigned fund balance is sitting at about 17.5%, so on the higher side. Now that we have our updated 25-26 subsidy rates, and looking at where we are 7 months into the fiscal year, the finance committee feels comfortable recommending to the board that we assign another $500,000 towards capital expenses and projects, specifically the new school building.
Oh, man. That we don't have.
Okay.
We don't
That we
have.
don't have yet.
Good news is we have the money.
We're just assigning. Just move that over. I need a motion.
I'll make that motion.
I'll
To
second.
find the 500,000.
Okay, Jill, second. The motion has been made. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
And then lastly, very last bullet point, May 1st, so 5 points. And that's it.
Okay, thank you. All right, the next thing on the agenda is election of board officers.
I would just say passing was a board and that's.
Lynn has already said she's willing to take the president. That, my last words from Lynn were, I will accept. I said, I've heard you. So Lynn would be very comfortable staying in her spot. I am comfortable. Who else do we have here to pick on?
The nominations.
Secretary.
The secretary. Are you willing to be the secretary for another wonderful year?
Yes, he is.
Sure,
Okay,
but I
got
mean,
it.
I'm not gonna fight anyone who wants to do it.
Yeah.
I'll see you in the backyard, buddy.
And then we need, what's our other one, treasurer? Do I hear someone willing to be the treasurer? John,
I'll do it again, yes.
John,
Unless
let
somebody's
John- let John
fighting.
keep doing it.
so we have a slate. So I need a motion to,
Say who's what, just.
well, it would be president would be Dr. Columba, vice president myself. Secretary would be Alex, treasurer would be John. Is that all we have? Yes, we have.
Yeah, that's.
So that is the slate. We must call it a slate. So do we have any discussion of anybody fighting to be an officer before we get the motion?
Motion to approve is like.
Inflated.
Escalated. We need a second.
Second,
You can't vote yourself, John. We need
Oh.
somebody else.
Oh, I'll second it.
Okay.
We,
All right.
I'm
So
grateful we are that
All-
you're all running and staying in
all,
your office.
all in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Abstentions? Okay, motion carries. That's only for 1 year, right?
1 year.
Double check that I'm not in for life.
Careful. And let's go there.
Okay, on our agenda, we do not have any public that I'm aware of,
Mm-mm.
so there's no public input. New business, anyone has new business? Okay. Okay, so we need a motion to adjourn.
Yes, this is you.
Oh, I mean, Alex, Alex.
Alex?
So move.
There you go.
All right,
Seconded.
okay, so are we all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Drive safely, going home. No snow for a while, we hope. All the buildings were.
It's melting, it's melting,
Yeah.
it's melting,
Thanks, Ruth.
finally
Thank
melting.
you.